Sports Weekly will have highlights of the boys and girls Catholic League basketball finals from Philadelphia. We'll also have a report from the finals of the NJSIAA Individual Fencing Championships. And we'll tell you about a wrestler who hopes to bring home some gold at the upcoming wrestling tournament in Atlantic City. All that and more on this edition of Comcast Scholastic Sports Weekly. Hello again, everybody. I'm Mick Mollinghoff, and welcome to Comcast Scholastic Sports Weekly, the show that features the top athletes, coaches, and teams in the Comcast coverage area. We start our program in the Philadelphia Catholic League with the finals of the Boys and Girls Basketball Championships. They were held at the Palestra, and in the girls' final, Cardinal O'Hara was looking for its third consecutive title as they took on Bishop McDevitt. This game was to feature Cardinal O'Hara's Kristen Clement, one of the top women's players in the city, and some might even say the best in the country. In the first quarter, Bishop McDevitt handled the pressure from O'Hara. Watch Janine Harp. She'll break the press, takes the ball up the floor in a hurry, and finds Christine Mikiewicz, who will finish, and the Royal Lancers are looking good early. Jen Zenzer in the backcourt runs the point for McDevitt. She'll scoop to the hoop. It falls, and Zenzer ends up with 16 points, 11 rebounds on the day. She's on her way to LaSalle. Meg Haggerty then got into the act, a long-distance three. McDevitt jumped out to an early 9-4 lead, but Kristen Clement had a three of her own, and O'Hara starts their comeback. Then it's Clement on defense. She gets the steal and the layup, and it's 11-all at the end of the first quarter. In the second, watch Zenzer. She'll push the ball to the hole, score, and she ties the game at 20 apiece. But that's when O'Hara goes on an 8-point run. O'Hara did it in transition. Clement on a fast break, comes up the floor, nice stutter dribble, gets it to fall, and Clement with 19 points in the first half, including the very last basket. She runs the clock down, takes a three, and banks it home. 28-20, O'Hara had the lead at halftime, and the handwriting was on the wall as we got ready for the second half. And in the second 16 minutes, O'Hara showed it just wasn't a one-person team. Watch the D by Trish Julien. Gets the block, then the layup here at the other end. Julien had 9 points and 7 rebounds on the day. Then Brandy Batch steps up. She shows why she's going to West Virginia next season. The rebound, the putback, she scores, and the Lions start to pull away. Batch had an impressive day. 10 points, 12 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 blocks, 2 steals. McDevitt head coach Tom Lonergan could see this one starting to slip away. Batch wasn't done. Here she passes to Kate Cullen. Cullen, the good basket, and a foul. Count it. It's party time at the Palestra, and the line was roaring for head coach Linus McGinty. Another championship, the finals. O'Hara's 68-35, and after the game, Scott Graham spoke to Kristen Clement, who said they never looked past McDevitt.
McDevitt isn't a team, to look down upon. They've got a great bunch of girls. Jen Zen's a very good player. She's going to have 4 great years at LaSalle. And we just said, hey, we got to play quarter by quarter, and we got to play each possession as it was our last.
Well, I know that you obviously are going on to bigger and better things. How emotional was this kind of a day for you? Because I'm not seeing quite as much of it except for the happy emotion.
Right. I mean, there's not a better feeling than going out on top. I mean, I said to the players before we had a shoot around for about an hour this morning. We met at the gym at 9:30, and I said to them, I said, just, if not for yourselves, at least do it for me. And I said, deep down inside, I want to go out on top. And I mean, it's just a great feeling, and I'm going on to a great program at the University of Tennessee, and hopefully we'll get some national titles there.
In the boys' final, the Pirates of St. John Neumann taking on the Patriots of Archbishop Carroll. They came in undefeated in the first quarter. Carroll runs a patient offense, and Tim Judge would knock down a three. And Carroll had won the 2 previous meetings, take the early lead. The outside game was working, so Carroll tries it down low. This time they'll set up Bill Phillips for the dunk, and Carroll is on its way. They also did it on defense in the first quarter as well to build an early lead. Watch the steal coming up here by Tim Judge. good anticipation, reaches in and starts to break. It turns into a 4-on-3 situation. And who's going to get it down low? Well, you guessed it. Phillips will finish off, and Carroll is up by 8. Phillips had a big day, a double-double, with 16 points and 10 rebounds on the afternoon. Newman needed to lift off the bench, and they go to their hot hand, Devon Fowler. Fowler has the added punch. He had 17 to lead Newman on this day, but it was Carroll who led by 5 at the end of the first half. In the second, well, things go as planned. Hartman would have missed, but Phillips was there for the putback, and Phillips was on his way to a major day, as we said, on defense. Watch the play by Phillips inside. He'll reject the shot. The fans love it, and Carroll with a big lead at halftime as they led by 8. We move to action in the third quarter. Newman has to come back. It'll be Mark Del Bracco who will let one go from downtown. He calls home from long distance. It's a 5-point game in the third quarter. Coach Tom Englesby on the left of Carroll is hoping that Coach Tom Doherty on the right from Newman doesn't have all the answers. But Newman did on this day. Newman goes to the hot hand, Del Bracco again. He'll hit from about the 15-foot mark. He had 13 on the day. At the end of 3, it's a 3-point ball game with Carroll out front. In the final 8 minutes, Newman did have the answer. They'll do it on defense. Here at midcourt, it's a strip by Rasheed Middleton. He'll take it down for a dunk, and Carroll is up by just 1. Coach Tom Englesby's team hadn't trailed in the fourth quarter all year until now. The dunk by Victor Thomas. And with that, Thomas ends up with 10 points. He's on his way to LaSalle, and Newman is on its way to the Catholic League title. The final score in this one, 54-46. Newman with the upset, and after the game, Scott Graham spoke to the winning coach, Tom Doherty.
You caught the basketball. You have not let go of it yet. Are you planning to let go of it sometime tonight?
I don't think so. I think I'm going to go to sleep with it. This is a dream come true. I've waited my whole life to coach in this league. I didn't think I'd win a Catholic League championship this quick, but it was the players. It wasn't the coaching. They stepped up big time. They never gave up. There was no yelling at halftime. We talked about making adjustments. We made the adjustments, and we're lucky to come out on top.
So once again, St. John Newman, the king of the hill in the Philadelphia Catholic League. When we come back in a moment right here on Comcast Scholastic Sports Weekly, we'll have highlights of the NJSIAA Fencing Championships. So stay on guard. We'll be right back.
I'm Steve Adubato. Make sure you tune into the newest Comcast Network program. It's called One-on-One. I'll be talking with New Jersey and Philadelphia's most compelling and interesting personalities right here on the Comcast Network.
I'd love to watch a movie tonight. Have you checked what's on Comcast Home Theater?
Hey, that's a great idea. I didn't feel like going out to the video store. Turn on Sneak Preview and see what's on.
Hey, there's a movie on at 8 we haven't seen. I'll call the 800 number to order.
And I'll pop the popcorn. I'm so glad we got this Comcast converter so we can order Comcast Home Theater movies instantly. We get the same movies as the video store without leaving home.
And we can get the movies we want with no returns or late fees.
And we can tape it.
The movie's ready.
Popcorn's almost ready.
Comcast Home Theater.
What a great idea.
Know what Comcast customers can get besides great cable TV? Sprint long distance, and a deal that'll blow you away. Up to 30 minutes of free long distance calling every month for a year when you order Sprint from Comcast. Not to mention Sprint Sense with Diamond Minute rates. So call Comcast and start talking up a storm. Comcast, everything you connect with.
Welcome back to Comcast Scholastic Sports Weekly. Last week in Hackettstown, New Jersey, the finals of the NJSIAA Individual Fencing Championships were held, and make no mistake about it, in this competition, there's no margin for error. In fencing, there are 5 individual titles. The women crown champions in the foil and the épée, while the men compete in the foil, the épée, and the saber. In most events, there were 16 competitors. The field was reduced to 12, and then again to a championship pool of 8. Each fencer in the final had 7 matches, and the fencer with the best record was champion. If 2 fencers were tied, well, they'd have a fence-off, which is a one-match winner-take-all showdown. In the women's épée, the champion was Lindsay Houston of Millburn. Houston, closest to the camera, seen here in an earlier match, won her title in a fence-off against Maya Lawrence of Teaneck with a score of 5-2. Houston was unknown to many of her competitors, and she said she never thought she'd win the title.
The competition was really tough this year. There's a lot of great fencers, and I knew I could do this well, but I wasn't expecting to. I'm not that competitive. I mean, I do. You know, I do most of my stuff with the team, don't do a lot individually. I do some competitions, but I don't know, I just didn't think I would.
Houston only takes part in high school events, unlike many of her peers. So how did she get started?
Well, I started because my father encouraged me to, and I kept at it because I liked it, and I don't know, I liked the competition, and I liked the other fencers.
The women's foil final saw an emotional showdown between Gina D'Aiso of Indian Hills and Marissa Mustilli of Columbia. Both fencers finished the final round with 6-1 records, forcing a final fence-off. D'Aiso dominated, winning by a score of 5-0. D'Aiso was one of the favorites coming into the event, and she said she felt the pressure.
Yeah, I've been gradually getting there, coming third, second, never getting the first, and I wanted it really bad. So all day I was psyching myself out, hoping that I was gonna, come here today and win it. That's all I wanted, was just to win it today. I've been waiting all season, and I finally got it.
And it was an emotional win, as D'Aiso's private coach is Frank Mustilli, the father of the runner-up.
My coach is her father. He coaches both of us, so it was hard to fence each other because we have the same exact style, so.
That's me.
It's him.
It should be noted that New Jersey is a hotbed for scholastic fencing. In fact, there are more high school fencing teams in New Jersey than in any other state. And there is a trend that most fencers have very high grade point averages. It's no wonder then that several college fencing coaches attend the New Jersey State Finals. Some even officiate, including George Kalimbatovich, Director of Fencing for Columbia University.
As a coach at Columbia University, I'm looking for people with high academics. Statistically, if I see a good fencer here at this tournament, I'm almost sure that they're someone I can recruit, someone that's going to have the kind of grades that Columbia University is going to require. Fencers tend to be smart people, and it draws intelligent, quick-thinking people, the kind of people that any good university would be more than happy to have.
We move on to the men's competition now, and in the foil, Steve Mautone of Millburn finished first with a record of 6-1 in the championship round. Mautone, a senior, stayed focused and was one win better than Nick Wharton, a personal fencing partner from Montclair Kimberly, who was 5-2.
He goes to my club. We fence all the time. It's great fun. It's a toss-up every time. I felt very good fencing. It was good. I just fenced my best. I didn't worry about, I had one loss, but I didn't worry about it. And I just kept fencing my best, and good things came.
Mautone excels in the foil, but what led him to that weapon?
I basically got into the foil because that's my coach's weapon, and he introduced it to me. And so I've stuck with that ever since he started coaching me. And I like it the most because of the rules, how everything is fenced and everything.
In the épée, Solomon Liu of West Essex easily won the event with a 6-1 record. The juniors said he was introduced to this non-traditional sport by his sisters.
I have 3 sisters, all of them fence in their high school. They were all captains of our varsity team. So it was like, I don't know, it was with me. Like, in my childhood, I always watched them, and that's what I wanted to do.
And in Liu's opinion, what does it take to become a champion?
That's kind of a hard one to answer. I'd have to say practice in general, because just having a good coach, he'll like tune up your skills. He'll teach you everything. Like, the coach is very important. And, the student has to make an effort in order to try his best, in order to accomplish what he wants to accomplish.
In the men's saber, it went down to a fence-off between Mike Morgenstern of Fairlawn and Ron Pack of Fingry. Morgenstern won the fence-off 5-3 and was thankful he could pull it off.
It was a difficult competition. There's a lot of good competitors here. I just fared a little bit better. I came out on top. I thank my coach, Tom DeCerbo, who passed away recently, my coach now, Galert Toth, and Eugene Packer. And I hope that I can continue fencing as well.
But what goes through your mind when you go into a fence-off?
I knew I had just beaten him earlier, so I knew that if I continued fencing on, then I had an edge. I used the edge. I went out 110%, gave it my all, and I fared the better.
And Morgenstern is one of the more vocal fencers. I asked him why.
Well, my previous coach always told me to be quiet and humble, but it helps me focus my energy. It gets me intense, and it gives me that edge that I needed.
The 1997 NJSI AA Fencing Championships, where only 5 fencers can be called champions. When we come back in a moment right here on Comcast Scholastic Sports Weekly, we'll tell you about the New Jersey State Cheerleading Competition. That's straight ahead.